This morning I got pretty caught up looking at some fan art for a book series that I quite like. Um, and there's some members of my family that love this book series too. And it's all of us are women. And so my sister, my niece, my daughter, and we have fun talking about the characters. I actually reread the entire, like, two of the series last summer. That's how, and one of them had seven books, so it was a lot of rereading, and I just enjoyed every minute of it. And I thought, this is a series I probably read another time. Um, but then, so this morning I saw something pop up in my Instagram feed when I was in there doing some work of my own and checking out my stats, which can be really, I have to make sure I don't do too much of that, but enough that I can keep my finger on the pulse as to whether or not people are engaging in my work. Because what I'm doing right now is trying to generate some sort of fandom and at the same time being really gentle with those people. And I'm going to tell you why in just a second. So I'm looking that up, came across my feed. I'm like, wow, that is a really cool depiction of this character. And then of course I'm scrolling through it and going, and they're all hot. Okay, let's just put it that way. And a lot of the fans have a lot of fun with that, with these depictions of these not quite human people in these fantasy books. And that's sort of part of the point of at least one stream of fantasy writing that is very popular right now. I mean, like millions of people are buying these books and eating them up, and I see why. I'm part of that sort of. I guess I'm part of that wave. And so in my teaching, in my creative writing workshops and such that I teach, last year we did a topic called fiction or fact. And so we were really toying with the idea of reality and how the stories that we read and the things that are supposedly made up are actually, they become real to us. The characters become real, and really sometimes, I mean, there's a fine line between that reality and this reality, and sometimes the characters feel more real than the people that we can touch and hug and you know all of that stuff, shake hands with, see with our eyes, and hear with our ears, and smell with our noses, and all that kind of stuff. So those senses are not involved, but they are when we move within. And so all of my work with meditation and visualization and knowing how we can re-know history and how we can heal the past, by using our other senses, those extra senses, or going within, or the imagination, actually, how it can um, change how we even see the past, and then how we experience our lives now and the future, and how we can let those things go. And all of those things are so important. And also, be able to conjure up feelings of love, or feelings of acceptance, or passion. Even passion is something that people are just starving for. Like, this is why I see that particular series that I was referring to, is so very popular, because it's not just passion as in, you know, um, like sex. It's passion as in love and connection, and persevering with a difficult relationship, and being safe within a relationship, but still not like pushed, and pushed to know yourself, and like all of those things. I see it. I see it. It's brilliantly done. And then there's still this element of like the fan art, and not just the fan art, but the way the characters are depicted and described in the books, that they are like gorgeous. Every last one of them. Yet, I do want to say that every character is gorgeous, and I don't just mean the way they're physically described, but if they are complex, and they are, you get to the depth of them, they don't have to pass some kind of test of rippling muscles and a brooding personality. a traumatic past and makes them dark and mysterious. I mean, there's those characters for sure, and they're highly interesting. There are also others that have different um, makeup, different history that are equally beautiful. And so in my writing, I want to, this is my challenge, okay, is to not go so bland as to not do that at all. Like, because I don't, part of our job as a writer is yes, to manipulate, but not in a way, it's more like an inspiration. So we do say, okay, well, I really want someone to feel the sorrow in this chapter, or the discontent in this character, or the joy in this situation, this relationship, let's say, and at the same time allow them the space to be able to imagine how that might look for themselves. And often, how we can imagine is what we've already seen. So we already have all these books about what romance should look like. We have, all these tropes and these sort of like stock characters, but a lot of writers are really breaking those open now, and to, accept the shadow and the light in everyone, which is something I'm really very cognizant of doing in my own work. So that's important. So there's this fine line between this, you know, I guess, igniting, I suppose, this desire to keep reading, this excitement, this, passion within yourself, like wanting to know more, wanting for this to work out, or going through this sorrow with a character. Like, I want the emotional roller coaster is actually necessary for the experience, but not in a way that leaves someone empty when they put the book down. When all they can do is think about that situation, and then their own life is dull in comparison, right? So this is the difference between um, fantasy writing, storytelling as being an escape, and where it can be brought back into life and inspire, right? More life, more healing in your own life, in whatever that might look like. It doesn't have to look like it does in the books. So this is my challenge that I've set forth for myself. So not necessarily romanticizing, like things like this kind of masculinity that's like, not it's impenetrable, right? They're so hard and strong, and they always persevere and they conquer. And I think this is one reason why this particular series is so popular, is that they are that, but also wounded. you know, they're children. They were children once. There's a reason why they behave the way they behave in this particular society, right? So they both can be held and also hold the other. So I think that is is really cool how this particular author has done that. Um, but there's still this like riding the line of romanticizing that particular character as well. But at the same time, I think that everything needs to be romanticized. Everything holds beauty. And that's what I mean by romanticized. That we can look at it with a poet's eye and enjoy, the stories in a way that holds our focus and changes us. Our biochemistry changes to that of, love, of excitement, of adventure, passion, like I said. So, so here we are, the characters are not stock. They're not either good or bad. They're maybe more along the lines of, let's say, a warrior or a healer, or, um, one of those sort of like stock that you start with, but that's only how they're expressing. So they have many different ways of expression. And so again, the writing must be full of passion and poetic writing, of just following the snowflake as it falls down, to the earth, or the leaf as it, sort of blows and twists in the wind at the end of this branch or something. We need to focus in and get romantic about it, but at the same time see all of it, the tiger in the trees waiting to, hunting the rabbit. All of those things they contribute, and without them, we don't have the animation. They're not really alive. They're flat. They're one dimensional, two dimensional maybe, but they're certainly not three or five dimensional. So I want people to be moved in an experience. And I don't want them to get so caught up in that fantastical experience that their lives are bland, that they don't want to return. I want them to I want them to read and say, hey, I'm busy, I'm reading, and and passionate about that, but be able to go, oh, I see my own life in new eyes because of it, right? To integrate all of it. So let's see how it goes.